Turnbull Government MP John Alexander has resigned from Parliament after British authorities were unable to uncover any evidence to support repeated assurances he was not a dual citizen. Mr. Alexander's resignation, 5 days after Fairfax media revealed he was likely a dual citizen by descent, will trigger a by-election in the former tennis champion's Sydney seat of Belog, and means Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has lost his parliamentary majority. "I have always believed that I am Australian and solely Australian," Mr. Alexander said. The 67-year-old told Mr. Turnbull he intended to resign during a business-like phone call about 6 p.m. yesterday. "He encouraged me to be decisive, to act expeditiously, and to put things beyond any question of doubt, and that's what I think the people of Belog want," Mr. Alexander said. "Australia is tired of this absurd situation. I don't have any degrees, I have a degree in common sense, and it doest make any common sense." The absence of Mr. Alexander and former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce sees the government reduced to just 74 of the 150 seats on the floor of the House of Representatives during the final 2 sitting weeks of the year. While the government will not fall, Labour and the crossbench could combine forces to cause trouble when Parliament resumes on November the 27th. Asked whether a general election was looming, Mr. Turnbull on Saturday responded with a simple no. Mr. Alexander held the culturally diverse electorate of Belog with a margin of 10%, which is normally considered safe. But some Liberal Party figures in New South Wales fear the seat is vulnerable despite Mr. Alexander's strong personal support. Labour held the seat from 2007 to 2010, when former ABC star Maxine McHugh snatched it from former Prime Minister John Howard. "In any competition, you've got to keep an open mind. There is a chance of losing," Mr. Alexander said. Mr. Alexander is a British citizen by descent because his father, Gilbert Alexander, was born in England before moving to Australia as a young child. When Fairfax media unearthed documents proving his British connection, the Belog MP admitted he had never renounced UK citizenship and for days could not say for sure whether his father did, but repeatedly assured the public in the Liberal Party that was his belief. He needed to quit no later than Monday to allow the minimum 33-day campaign required to hold the poll on December the 16th. The weeks after that date, during the Christmas and New Year period, would be impractical, pushing back the next likely date until at least early February. A complication is that Mr. Alexander would have to fully renounce his claim to UK citizenship before nominating as a candidate. If he failed to have written confirmation of his status before standing, he could still be considered constitutionally ineligible. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has said MPs who have no doubt that they are dual citizens should resign from Parliament immediately. On Saturday he called on Labour MPs who were possible dual citizens to also resign so a series of by-elections can be held on the same date. Labour's candidate for Belog at the 2016 election, Lyndall Howison, accused Mr. Alexander of disrespecting the Constitution and Parliament.